Warehouse spaces were never designed to be beautiful, let alone be artistic hubs of warm communal creativity. But Andrea and Emma took that challenge and have done what many deem to be impossible. They've transformed an old warehouse into a beautiful, thriving creative business. Filled to the brim with quirky makes, pottery wheels, kilns, and now a whole creative team. This mother-daughter duo have brought to life their very own open-access pottery space. Welcome to ClayMake Studio. I spent the morning with Andrea and Emma touring their space to find out what it takes to set up and run a creative business.
I made this one during COVID, but it is now my everyday work cup. And welcome to ClayMake. This is our space. These are our glaze boards. So something we actually kind of specialize in here is glaze making and stuff. Mum has a book coming out later this year, published by Bloomsbury. We tried to stop West Australian made clay gear as well. So it's 4x4. Over here is all of the things that are waiting for firing or have been fired and are waiting for collection. You never quite know what you're going to find on these shelves, which always keeps it interesting. And then back here is the oh so glamorous side of things. Here are our kilns. We have 3 electric kilns. We fire usually when they're all working 6 times a week. Right now we've got a glaze kiln there going up. That one's called Steckies. The middle one is called Middle, and then that one is Busilla over here. Is where the clay recycling happens. That's our tally of the clay that we've recycled over the years. So January was Mood Month. We even recycle the slops at the bottom of the sink, which is usually thrown out. Something that's awesome about clay and is great for anybody with perfectionist tendencies, such as myself, is that as long as it's not being fired, clay can be recycled over and over and over again. So here we've got it drying at different stages. Once it's at the right consistency, then that's what we reuse in classes. I got clay in here ready for tomorrow and for class.
What is the weirdest thing you've seen?
It's a jug that we nicknamed the Gusher. So it's not unusual for people to make things which are body inspired, let's say. We've had vases that the handles are dips, you get used to that sort of thing very quickly. But the most impressive one was a jug where the spout opening was an open, like, bowl. It's at the back there and we're just staring at it and it's just like, it's not very practical. It's not got a pour very well, it doesn't have a spout. You very quickly just start looking at the practicality. That's why it was nicknamed the Gush.
After Emma took me around the studio, I couldn't help but notice how busy and energetic the space was. People were everywhere, working away. I still wanted to find out more about the process and mindset behind these 2 artists getting this not only set up, but thriving.
We are an open access ceramic studio, which means as well as teaching classes and workshops and things like that, anybody can come in just to use the space. You don't need to be a member, that we offer membership. You don't need to be a current student. As long as you've touched clay before and you kind of want to get into it, it's $15 for 2 hours for a drop-in session.
How we started is that I was teaching at TAFE and other places. I was whinging a lot that people needed to be enrolled in a class in order to use the studio.
I really noticed a big generational gap between established spaces and people who are interested in clay. We found somewhere that's on a residential street with a warehouse, which means that it has this neighborhood feel and it feels safe when you're going to your car, being accepted straight away. It was a sign makers with very interesting design choices of the interiors. This room was fluorescent green, which is really fun to paint over. There was a remarkable, very Teletubbies style decor on the whole wall in there with inspirational phrases over you know, the Windows XP green background. Yeah, we had to peel that off and rebuild the walls. So there was quite a bit of reno that we had to do beforehand.
We had to add sinks,
Yep.
power points for the wheels and power points for the kilns. The thing is also we started with no budget. Yeah. We started with very, very little budget. We did a smart thing and we did a small business course.
Yeah, the new Enterprise Incentive Scheme, it's a free course. It's about 2 weeks, and that was really helpful for us because it took our kind of, like, neither of us have business experience at all. We're teachers and artists. So the whole idea of making money is a very foreign one. So what it did was it took our kind of ideas and really crystallized it and gave us a timeline, got us to write business plans, got us to be able to jump off with all of that stuff.
Really gave us a good grounding.
Especially with artists, very often you'll have this like great idea, but have trouble actually following through with it.
Often artists are asked to volunteer their time or their artwork
To build a resume, you know? Yeah. It's great exposure.
and not. And now we have how many people working here?
Wendy, Joe, Kat, Megan, Dolores, Aria. 7 on the regular. We were very confident that we would be able to provide a good space, good teaching, thorough, all of that stuff, but we never could quite predict who would be coming. It definitely went in a direction we weren't anticipating at the beginning, but we've ended up, and very quickly, an amazing group of really supportive, fabulous, like, people. And I think that's a lot of what brings people back. A really strong thing is being passionate about what you're doing. Like, you need to be obsessed with it, basically. And you need to know stuff. And if you don't know that aspect, being able to find people who do. And so that's one of the reasons why this partnership works so well, is that Mum can bring all of that experience to it, that strong foundation.
Experience is quite as valid as mine and quite often bigger than mine in area of sculpture.
We definitely have our own skill sets, which are very complementary. And that would be advice, is
Doing it with a partner.
doing it with a partner who you can rely upon.
So sometimes I will have an idea and say, oh, why don't we do that? And Emma goes, or other way around, oh, this is great, let's do it.
Yeah.
Our biggest problem is that we generate new ideas, but we don't want to let go of the old ones.
Yes.
And that means that we are running out of time and energy to put everything in practice.